Hello and welcome to Devil May Cry 2 My Thoughts 10 Years On. The game originally came out in January 2003 in North America and Japan. It was the 25th of January in North America and 30th of January in Japan. It didn't come out until March 28th in Europe.
In a time long since past, in an age of darkness, when the earth was overrun with demons and humans were powerless under their rule, humanity's hope lived in a demon named Sparda. With a spirit unlike any other, and wielding the sword that bore his own name, Sparda eradicated the demons. And now, the legend of Sparda has been inherited by his son, the demon slayer, Dante.
You called?
Till next time, son of Sparda.
This is the first mission in the game. I'm going to do two missions just so you can really get a feel for the gameplay, because the first two missions are quite short, I felt. The game follows, well, it doesn't really directly follow on from the first game, but it sort of is very, well, very similar. But what's great, I think, about this game is you've got two characters. Now, I know from what I remember at the time, from what I read in magazines and stuff, this game wasn't, and still isn't, considered one of the worst of Devil May Cry's. I don't know if the inclusion of the second character, which I think her name's Lucia, I think that's how you pronounce it, is the big problem. I personally didn't have a problem with her as a character. I only really chose to use her disc. Well, at first I was a bit confused, and I assumed it was the one, because the one I've got's got pictures on, because this is the PlayStation 2 version still. So I went with just to see, and I got playing it. I thought, well, I'm just going to carry on, really. And I thought, it was, well, whether or not it's a good idea to play as Lucia, we'll find out. But I think that was a lot of things. I don't think people like that, but I don't think that's a big problem, because there's a lot more gameplay because you've got two characters to go through. So for me that wasn't a problem, and whether or not that is a problem, it's not. It's things I have read things about it. I mean, and yeah, but I think really for me, I think the story was, and the game is very short, and it was quite a weak story. The story really is about Dante is sort of teamed up with Lucia. I think she sort of gets in contact with him or something. Do you know? It's just been in the cutscene. I forgot. But basically they go on to fight this businessman. I think his name's Arius. I think that's how you pronounce it. Who's like, trying to take over the world with demon powers. and they're really just trying to stop him. So that's really what the story's about. It's actually quite funny. I didn't realise this, but his company is called Ouroboros, I think that's how you pronounce it, which is actually the virus or something to do with Resident Evil 5, which is also a Capcom game. I just thought that was quite an interesting fact you might like to know. I personally didn't dislike this Devil May Cry. I mean, for me, I can see why it's not liked. But as I said, I think the shortness of the story, and it does feel like it's going nowhere in places, I must admit. So I can see why, it's not well, I wouldn't say it was a hated game, but I can see why it's one of the weakest entries in the Devil May Cry series. I mean, I know 4, well, I've only played parts of 4, so I can't really get into it, but what I've played of 4 I didn't dislike. But I think what people say the problem with 4 is because it's sort of been done before, I suppose, and it's got a bit stale, as they say. But no, I didn't personally dislike this game. I think I got it in 2004. I think it was in a HMV sale, and well, most people have heard about HMV being in a bit of financial trouble. But I just remember, I remember buying, they had like a sale in the summer, I think it was 2004, and I just remember buying it. I mean, for me personally though, I think if you look at all the Devil May Cries, I think the third one probably is everybody, well, I really like the third one, even though I haven't finished it. I must get around to finishing it at some point. I just want to sort of talk about the new Devil May Cry actually, because I read something that there was actually a petition, I think it was to the White House, to get the game banned because it didn't have the original Dante in. I find that really strange because, I mean, I don't want to call anybody stupid, but I think people are very passionate about it, obviously about the original Dante, and I'm just amazed that people will go that far. For me, I don't dislike the new Dante. I mean, he's kind of the same sort of character as I said in my quick look at the demo. So, I mean, what I've played of the game so far, it's been really quite good. I haven't got too far though. I'm only on the second mission now. I haven't really been doing a lot on the PlayStation at the moment, so and that's really the reason why this video is so late. When I actually found out the UK date was March 28th, I actually thought, oh right, I didn't realise that, because I'm going to try and keep these videos nearer the dates, because I think it was really confusing last year. It was actually funny because I was looking on Eurogamer, because they do, there is a release date section, and it went back to 2003, and I was actually looking through, and when I see March 28th, well, that's not what I read on Wikipedia, so I had to look again just to make sure, and it was the European release date that I got wrong. So I do remember about this game there being a lot of anticipation for it, because at that point I didn't own the first game and never played it. It wasn't till later in 2003 I think I got it, the original game. But I really didn't dislike this game, in all honesty. It really had everything the first one had, but as I said, I think it was just a lot weaker story. The enemies were pretty much how you remembered them. So for me, yeah, it wasn't really a bad game, but as I said, I do appreciate why it wasn't liked. I do like the fact that they did add another character though, as I said, because there's more replay, and I don't really know, I think, because I know Dante's, I think it's sort of changed in the new game, but in the original game I think he was half human, half demon. I think that's the same Lucia. Because I think after this mission you meet her mother, who does look very old, but I don't know the full story there, but she knows Dante because she helped his dad, so that's how the story does sort of start off. And I forgot what I was going to say now. Oh, you know, I was saying about Lucy. I didn't know if she was a sort of half demon or full demon. She has a demon trigger and everything like Dante pretty much does. I think she just. I don't think she has any guns. I think she just has throwing knives and different. I really can't remember what weapons she had. What was great as well, they had extra costumes, but I think they did in Dante did in the original game. Though I know I don't think you could play as any other characters in the original games. Maybe in the special editions if there were any, but I don't remember. I really can't remember. But for those who don't have a PlayStation 2 and don't know that there is a HD collection available of these, you can get one. And you get all 3 games, and I think you get the special edition of Devil May Cry 3, whereas you can play as Dante's brother, I think. I've got the regular edition on PlayStation 3. It's really annoying for me because when I see these HD collections, I think to myself, well, they'd be handy in the future if ever my PlayStation 2 breaks down, which hopefully it doesn't. But I do sort of think, well, is it worth 19 quid? I think that's how much I've seen it the other day for. When I own all 3 already, it's sort of, you know what I mean? I know it's always nice to have updated graphics because I do have Tekken Tag Tournament HD, because I managed to get hold of a copy of Tekken Hybrid the other day. And I've got to admit, it does look a lot better. I didn't think it'd look as good as it sort of how much the HD would update it really, but I don't know. If definitely if you're looking for you don't have a PlayStation 2. That's probably your best bet, really. I mean, I think you can pick the PlayStation 2 games up pretty cheap now, but I think, to be honest, you'd be better off getting the HD collection really, because it's on Xbox as well as PlayStation 3 as well. I mean, with Blu-rays, I find them to be quite durable, the discs. They don't seem to scratch easily. That's just from my personal experience. So that's kind of why I do prefer a Blu-ray, but I know the PlayStation 3 does have trouble with frame rates and stuff. I know the Xbox can as well. I'm not really good on the technical side of that, and I don't want to say which console's better because I'm of the opinion that both consoles are good for different reasons, really. But I just to get back to what I was saying about the original the new Devil May Cry, that really, I just don't get the petition really for that. I'm just amazed that a character can mean that so much to so many people. Really, I think with the new Devil May Cry, I find the guy a bit weird. I wouldn't say weird. I do find him a little bit arrogant at first, which I kind of didn't with the original Dante. He never come. Well, he was a bit cocky, wasn't he? And he did have those cheesy one-liners, but the guy still does now. But as I said in the demo, he's similar to the original Dante. It's just appearance, really, that's the big change. I know there has been. I have heard that there's an unlockable thing where you can get him to have white hair, but they have got some DLC coming out, or it might be out now. Actually, I think it might be out this week. Might be out today. In Europe, I read that it might be out today. I don't know if it is though. I will have a check on the PlayStation Store and get back to that. But I think I know I did read it, and they've actually got like his original red jacket and all that. But the price is quite. I think it's quite steep. I think it's like £3.19 for 3 costumes, so it is a bit steep. Well, I don't know. Is that a fair price? I don't really know. For me, I'm not really that interested in it, to be honest. But I did hear there was once you completed the game, you unlocked a costume where he had white hair. I know his Devil Trigger, I think it's called a Devil Trigger still, he does have white hair as well. And his coat goes red, so... But I think if you're someone who doesn't like the idea of the new Dante, really don't let that stop you buying it, because it's what I play so far. I've really enjoyed. It is a fantastic game. I think that's really all I've got to say, so I'm just going to leave you to enjoy the rest of this video, and thank you for watching.